What's up, everybody? My name is Langa, also known as Lala Love, and today I'll be reading a story by Essay Publishers, and the story is called The Battle of Mhlatuze River. Reading our story. The story you're about to read is true. The people you'll find out about really lived, and the events really happened. These people lived in southern Africa before the different countries we know today existed. Our country was very different then. No roads, taxis, motorcars, or buses. No clinics, hospitals, shops, or shopping centers. Just a wide expanse of open land filled with animals of all kinds, in numbers so large we can hardly imagine what our country looked like then. The people who lived then knew and understood the open country and its animals well. They faced many challenges unfamiliar to us. They did the best they could for themselves, their children, their children's children, and of course, you. For these people are the ancestors of many people living in South Africa today. This is their story, your story, our story, and all of these, of course, make up South Africa's story. Here beneath the stars, we gather around the fire that shines bright in our eyes. I make my old bones comfortable here on my mat. I am a daughter and a granddaughter of a storyteller, one in a long line of those who keep memories in words. Let me tell you about the Ndwandwe and the Battle of Mhlatuze River. Before I can tell you that story, I have to tell you many others, all little stories that feed the big one. Yes, like a river fed by many waters, waters that run over stones black as night, or white as bones, or dark red like blood. Indeed, these rivers tumble together and meet noisily, shouting about the men and women who wet their feet as they bent to drink from them. I get carried away, and you all know that. But my thoughts run through my tongue like a stream singing in the sun. The Ndwandwe. Let me tell you first of the people that lived in the time of your grandfather's grandmother. They lived in a land of the Ndwandwe, but also that of the Zungu and the Zulu. The same place where the Langeni stayed, the Ntombela and the Buthelezi, and the Dlamini and the Khumalo, and the Ndlovu and the Mthethwa, over the whole area that we call KwaZulu-Natal today. In this land, there was a great famine. The rains had been less and less for many years, and a terrible drought spread over the land. This time of little food became known as Madlatule. From the saying, let one eat what he can and say nothing. People lived on amahluke, the fruit of the arum lily, and scratched in the ground of the roots of upoqo. The fields of mealies, a wonderful food that had been brought across the seas to the lands in the north, wilted in the ground. When rain was good, the people and their cattle grew fat and multiplied. But this foreign corn needed much more water than the local grains. The drought lasted for over 10 years, and people began to fight each other over food. Game became scarce, and the supplies of grain and the cattle grew smaller. People collected around water and each other for safety. At the beginning of the 1800s, in the area now known as Zululand, there were many separate clans. They all spoke the same language and had the same customs. The Ndwandwe were a powerful tribe under the leadership of Zwide from 1950 to 1820. Their territory stretched north and east of the Black Mhlatuze River, To the south and west, Dingiswayo had united the Zulu-speaking clans. Zwide was not interested in submitting to the authority of the Mthethwa and had ambitions of his own. He was supported by his mother, Ntombazi, who was known to be a great sorceress. As with her son, her desire for power was great, and she encouraged him to be crafty and deceitful. Zwide himself was cunning and sometimes treacherous. Dingiswayo had already subdued and captured him once, but had generously released him. Instead of teaching him a lesson, this only encouraged the wily Zwide to test his strength on a weak opponent. To increase his forces, he had begun to copy Dingiswayo's method of raising an army. As he defeated smaller tribes, he forced their men to serve as warriors for him. With his increased forces, he attacked Zwangendaba, a sub-chief of the small Ematwangeni tribe which lived east of the Ndwandwe, thinking that he would easily overcome him. But Zwide hopelessly underestimated Zwangendaba and suffered an embarrassing defeat. Adding to the indignity that Zwide suffered, Zwangendaba not only released him after he was captured, but had him escorted home. Zwide was angry and humiliated. All he could think of was revenge as he got his army together in the cattle kraal to get ready for war. The place of a gathered army is strictly taboo for a female, so it was shocking when a woman rushed wildly in amongst the warriors who were preparing for battle. To the horror of the watching warriors, the woman began to take off her clothing until she stood in their midst completely naked. This woman, a half-mother of Zwide called Nowawa, had tried to dissuade Zwide from setting off for battle, convinced that to attack Zwangendaba again was not only ungrateful but also risky. All agreed that her wicked act was indeed an omen of evil. This time, Zwide and the frightened army were convinced that their efforts could not end well, and they stayed home. Still, Zwide was determined to regain his reputation and brought his attention to the chief of a nearby clan who was known as a lawbreaker of Dingiswayo's rules. Zwide sent a request for help to Dingiswayo's commanders when they patrolled nearby. He needed help, he said, to punish the wicked chief Mhlatuze for his repeated transgressions. The commander agreed and thus supplied with reinforcements. Zwide attacked the Emanchalini and killed Mhlatuze. The victory went to his head, and Mhlatuze's skull went to his mother Ntombazi so that it could be added to her growing collection of heads of Zwide's enemies. I guess I'll have to end it there, guys. But for more of the Battle of Mhlatuze River, go to SA Heritage Publishers, and you can get many other stories over there. Oh my gosh, guys, I said it. We are going to have a wonderful Heritage Month. Did you hear that story? I mean, the Mhlatuze River, the Ndwandwe, guys, I learned a lot. If you want to know more about the story, please go to SA Heritage Publishers and then you can order your book. Like, who wouldn't want to order that book? You learned a lot. And from me, guys, make sure that you watch us every single week. You're gonna find out the details, when to watch it, what time, what. But yeah, from me, La La Love, I am signing out.